Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Let's Design Cities Skylines. My name is Strictoastair and we are back at Cedar Valley where we continue the development of our international airport. And as you can probably imagine or, figure out from the title and the thumbnail of this video, we're going to be working on runway markers or markings. Now that's going to happen at the end of the episode. I'm going to do that on camera, not during the time lapse, so stay tuned for that. But in the meantime, we're going to get started by setting up the road network that will sort of connect all the different areas from this airport. Now, what I'm doing there is just laying down some service roads that pretty much wrap things around. In this case, as I was laying down the service roads against that diagonal semi-abandoned runway, I realized that the runway wasn't going in a straight line. So I pretty much got rid of it and decided to put it up or just create it again from scratch, even all the way to getting rid of the lines that go through using this technique that I showed you in the previous episode, where I just create intersections every 5 units or so, and reversing the order of the just simply reversing the order. That's what I'm trying to say. Now let me talk about a few things that did happen in the previous episode that I want to share with you. So Strictoastair planes, the little plane pack that was created by B. Squigglehausen. Well, I'm happy to inform that we actually made it to the Steam Workshop homepage. It was there up until this morning. Today is what day is today? Today's Wednesday, almost Thursday. I just checked. It's no longer there. But man, we've been up on the Steam Workshop homepage for a good 6-7 days. I guess it's been a week since that asset was uploaded, so that's probably why it's not there anymore. But I want to thank you all for subscribing and rating the plane pack. Let me actually give you the numbers because they're kind of impressive. So it's currently standing at 4 stars in terms of rating, and about a little bit over 2,900 people have subscribed to the plane pack, which is amazing. In fact, I've been getting several screenshots. I don't know if you saw my comment in the previous video, because I had it way after the video was released. If you saw the video right after it came out, you probably missed it. But what I did ask on Twitter and on Facebook is for you to send me screenshots if you did subscribe to the assets, so that I can share it with the rest of the viewers. And I did get a few screenshots from your own airports or from viewers' airports, where there's a little either Strictoastair plane flying around or just parked on that taxiway. Man, those were really, really nice. So if you want to see those, go check out my Facebook page, facebook.com/Strictoastair, and also on Twitter, twitter.com/Strictoastair. I know I keep self-promoting my social networks, but I'm really active on those, and I do tend to post screenshots from viewers and cool things that I see online. I keep those very active. Now, before I continue talking about that, let me talk about what I'm doing on the screen right now. So as you can see, getting the service routes across the different taxiways didn't look super nice. It does look okay, but it's not very realistic. So what I did instead is I created intersections and converted the segment in between the segment that sort of collides with the taxiway into one of those. I think they're like the pedestrian roads. Now there is a bit of a problem with that, which I couldn't figure out how to really get rid of. You see, when I do create those intersections, I get the automatic props that get added on both sides of the streets. In this case, I get a 30-mile-per-hour sign on each end, which is literally sitting in the middle of the taxiway, which is not great. Like, planes will not drive through that. Right now, pretty much on every one of those intersections, that's what it looks like. So it's It's not great, I know, but I really don't have another way to really fix that. I tried many different combinations, and that's the best thing I was able to manage. So if you have suggestions, by all means, let me know. If not, it's not that big of a deal. I mean, we're always going to be looking at the airport from far up above, so those signs like despawn rather easily. Now, time lapses, it keeps going, and I need to talk about this massive change that I did. So many comments in the previous video were suggesting that I maybe should get rid of the trams or integrate the trams with trains. I think nobody actually said that I should get rid of the trams, but I did anyways because they didn't look great, they weren't working, and I realized that a train terminal would work much better than what the trams used to. So I ended up moving also the bus stops, as you can see there. And another big recurring comment in the previous video was the fact that there were roads connecting on both sides of the toll booths, like I just removed there for a second, where you could basically get inside of the parking lots or inside the airport without having to pay any tolls. That is now taken care of. Just put down 2 fire stations over there, by the way. But I will come back to those parking lots and fix them up a bit because they're still kind of like sitting there. But at this point, what I'm doing is sort of rearranging all of the warehouses that I have, or the warehouses that I think could fit in the back of this airport. And I usually, I got this technique from Corrales. I just put things on the side and then use the eyedropper tool to pick them up. Instead of just browsing through the menus, I'd rather plop things on the side and then just grab them and put them in their whatever the final resting area or resting spot for those is, or I think it is. Now, one important thing to mention here is so this whole area in the back, I'm actually pretty happy with how it turned out. Obviously, it's still pretty early during this time lapse to see how this is all going to play out. But it did take me quite a bit of time, and I'm sure if you're building custom airports for your own cities, you might have gone through this. It's important to first put down some of these plane stands, or whatever this. They actually behave like terminals. These things that have the lights. And obviously they go by the same rules as every other element in the game. So they're just gonna try to find the shortest path in and out of the city, which means that planes will spawn on these, but only if the route to where they're going is short enough. And sure enough, this did work. For after I tried, I let the simulation run for a little bit, make sure that there was some action happening there. I did end up, rearranging the order of the different taxiways, because some of them go to one runway, some others go to a different runway. That way I could divert traffic sort of evenly. But the cool thing is that since this terminals are so far away from the main terminals and all the other services that we have, like for example the train and the buses and pretty much everything else, they don't get used that often, which is actually a good thing, because I don't think cargo planes are that recurring. I guess they are, but I wanted to keep the things, this whole area in the back, to not be as traffic intensive as the main terminals were. So I guess that was a bit of a happy accident. Now over here I'm continuing my maintenance road design, try to integrate it with this new hangar area that we have over here. One thing to notice is that the only connection for trucks and cars from all the hangars and the warehouses, it's still the main freeway that connects to the main entrance of the airport. I think eventually I'm gonna have an alternate route that kind of goes around the one of the runways and connects to the freeway in a different spot. That way we can sort of divert traffic a little bit more, efficiently. And over here, I'm putting down some tanks, but later I realized that there's a much better spot for those on the side of the airport. And this, I think this is where I do it. Because I can't remember. I did this 2 days ago. So please excuse me. Yeah, this is okay. So one thing I did notice from all these reference airports that I've been looking at is that they usually, like, for example, the gas area, like the jet fuel tanks, it's usually kind of like sitting on the side. And as well as the Doppler radar, that these are things, these are elements that they're not necessarily part of the main building. So I decided to put those on the very edge of the river and the island. And I think it turned out amazing. It really did. At the very end of the time lapse, obviously, I'm going to add some keys around it, just so that, you know, there's a bit of a nicer transition between the river and that area. But one thing I forgot to record is that keys, for some reason, they're not working very well, so I'm probably not going to use them anymore. And when I say they don't work very well, I mean that they when you terraform next to it, sometimes you get this like sloped terrain that you can't get rid of for some reason. I don't know. It happened to me in a different spot, not necessarily on the water. So I'm guessing it's either an issue with the key anarchy mod, or it's just keys were like changed somehow by the game developers recently, and they no longer work the way they're supposed to. So what I ended up doing is, you know, just using the seawalls that we used in our harbor. And you're going to see that in the cinematics at the very end. So do not mind that, you know, for now. All right, so let's see. What am I doing here? Okay, so I'm basically creating more maintenance roads pretty much throughout our cargo areas. And as you can see, I'm adding these, you know, little segments that kind of extend, and there's like patches of grass in between. So those are kind of on purpose. I'm not going to fill everything. I just want to have, you know, I mean, that's usually how the layout of airports is. There's like patches of green in between the different elements. It's not all like one big block of cement. And that usually, I mean, at least for Cities Skylines, it helps break the repetitiveness of the texture or the concrete texture. So, you know, I think that was a good result. And now over here, like I said before, we're getting the parking lots to look a little bit more polished, given that I got rid of the bus stops. And honestly, I think they turned out really, really good. They're simple. There's only parking lots. Obviously, we're still missing a lot of detail, which, as I'm sure you can imagine, we're not going to do in this episode, but we are going to, or at least my intention is to do that in the next one. So yeah, a lot of details are on the way. One thing that was kind of happy is the parking lots are like absolutely perfectly aligned, which never happens to me. There's a lot of work that you have to do in order to keep those aligned, and this one was like first try. Yeah, I was really happy about that. That's all I'm gonna say. Now over here, this main entrance to the airport, I try to one of those plane stands was so close to the street that when a plane was spawning there, it was so big that eventually, once we have a fence all around the perimeter of this airport, planes will just clip through that fence. There's literally no room between the plane stand, the taxiway, and, you know, the freeway that, you know, connects to the main entrance of the airport. So I had to like move around some of these elements in order to make room for that. I think it turned out much better than what it used to be. And obviously we added more of these patches of grass there as well. So that's also a good thing. And overall, I think it's looking rather nice. Now, one thing that's worth pointing out is you can see that train track coming in the middle of the freeway. So that's new. That's something I did completely off camera. It's just a connection that I created. Really no detail was added there. Just a straight connection from the main station to the airport. And it's a line that goes through the, let's see, remember 2 episodes ago when we did I think the episode was called the Nations Plaza, where we did the little main street with all those little red lights, and there was a train station over there. Okay, so that's the last stop before before the airport. So now there's a line that runs between the main station and the airport. And that's pretty much all there is. There's also an underground track over there. I'm sure you saw it a second ago. And that is what connects the I was trying to do a connection underneath the suspension bridge, but I tried some designs off camera and it didn't look great, so I decided to go 100% underground, and I think that was a better choice. Now, before you freak out, what I'm doing here is here's the thing. I'm imagining that pretty much all the areas around the airport, all those big patches of grass, are going to become a bit of a marsh wetland. So I'm only preparing a really rough, landscaping with the terraforming tools. It's definitely a lot more work needs to be done on that front. But my goal is to, when we do the decorations, to create a nice, very, not with tall trees or anything like that, at least not everywhere, where it's going to be mostly bushes. And I don't know, I figured that might have been a nicer sort of, surroundings for the airport. And I think right here I'm getting ready to do one of my favorite parts from this episode, which is I brought back the rock textures from a few episodes ago. When that episode when I did the beach side. No, what's the episode after that? Anyways, a while ago I had this design where I had the sort of the wave breakers with using the prop line tool and the vanilla rocks, which I think it's a design that looks amazing. And the tetrapods are right on the edge of the water. So I pretty much did that on every single segment of land that was kind of extruded into the water, if that makes any sense. Basically, yeah, I'm sure you can see it from this angle. The land kind of extends outside of the boundaries of the island, and wherever that happens, there's now a wall of rocks that will prevent water from, I don't know, jumping over the runway, even though this is an old runway. So I'm guessing this was a design that it's been there for a while, and I don't know, I just love the way it looks. The only issue with this is that the rocks despawn when you're swimming out. So one trick I'm doing here too, and I also did it a few episodes back. One trick I'm doing to sort of try to fix that a little bit is to use this surface painter in order to get cement texture underneath the rocks. That way, when you zoom out, you at least see a patch of gray, which kind of matches the texture of the rocks. So I don't know if that makes any sense, but that's kind of what I did. I'm sure you'll see it during the cinematics, and even every time I zoom out of the airport, you're probably going to notice that the rocks disappear, but there's still a gray texture underground. And I usually, to get this technique right, what I do is try to grab the straight lines and then connect the curves using the the curve tool once I know whatever the end points for those rocks will be. And you pretty much end up with this perfect rock formation or rock wall. Now, sometimes you get several tiny rocks in between these lines. So what I did there a second ago is just manually add some rocks wherever there's like little holes that maybe don't look super nice. And this is there you go, that's what I was saying a moment ago. And of course you can see the concrete texture in the background there that will soon be covered by water on that end. So yeah, I think that's a really nice design. I think it turned out amazing. And over here, one last little touch that I'm doing to these tanks is basically putting down a bit of a pier that would connect to, I don't know, like an old tanker bringing jet fuel into the airport. So, like I said, I'm sure I'm gonna have a bit of a pipeline maybe connecting to, I'm guessing, the hangar area or something like that. Or maybe even under the runways. I don't know. We're definitely going to be connecting this area of the map with the rest of the airport somehow. But yeah, like I was saying a moment ago, this is me putting down keys. And after I did all this work, I realized I started terraforming, which is unfortunately not caught on camera. And I realized it doesn't look great. So I ended up changing all of these things with seawalls. But in any case, we're reaching the end of this time lapse. And it's time to do some work on camera. I'm going to do my best to not repeat myself, as the commentary that you just heard, well, I haven't recorded that yet. So I'm going to start doing some runway markings. And let me just go right into the menu because, well, I want to start first with the blast pads. So I'm going to put them right up against the edge of the runway like this. And I think we're going to do 2 sets. Are those aligned? They're off by like a pixel. Let me see if I can get that to align properly. All right, that's not too bad. Let's do the same on the other side. Real quick, rotate that. Align it again with the runway. And try to get the lines to match as well as the prop itself. That one was actually flawless. Perfect. We also need to put the ILS or ALS. So I think it goes this way, right? It goes from, yeah, these ones are taller. Perfect. Also want to get rid of that dirt underneath the ILS or ALS. I really don't know because I read it with both names, so I'm not entirely sure which one's which. So here we have a bit of a situation because it doesn't really fit. So we have 2 options. We either make the runway short, which is probably what I'm going to do, or just leave it like this. Because usually that's also a thing that happens. This kind of extend a little bit outwards. Should we try to like accommodate this so that it does fit? Oh, this one requires power. You know what? I'm going to leave this one like this for now, just as a reminder. Or I'm going to put the rest of the markings, and we're going to take care of that in a moment. And thankfully, the road kind of like, you know, goes in between the lights. So in this case, I think it's fine. Now, let's see. We need to name this runway. So I'm basing this, I don't know if I said this, but I'm basing the layout on the airport in Vancouver, Canada. So, or British Columbia. So based on what I have here, the runways, I keep hitting my head with the microphone. Sorry about that. I'm going to have 2 runways, 26 left and 26 right, as well as 08 right and 08 left. So let's start with that. If I'm looking at the airport like this one will be left and this one will be right. So that's what we're going to do. And let's find those numbers. There we go. That's the proper alignment for the number. There we go. And I'm going to try to get the, plane coming in. Actually, this should be closer together because we need to squeeze in the L. It's so difficult to get these aligned, by the way. It's not as easy as it looks. That looks nice. I'm happy with that. Let's go with that. Let's do all the other ones. There we go. 26 right. Love it. So let me show you the other ones. We have 08 left and 08 right, as well as the first one we did, which is 26 left. All right, so far so good. Now, what I think I'm going to do next is, so we have a couple things. And next one thing I'm going to do is cancel this runway. And in order to do so, we need to basically draw an X on the endpoints of the runway. I think I'm going to also put down some X's in between I've seen that in some airports, so not entirely sure what what goes what's up to code, but let's just go for line. There we go. I think we can cut short a few of these. There we go. That doesn't look so bad. I mean, it's kind of not great, but it's not too bad either. So let's go with that on the other end. It looks much better. It's kind of messed up a little bit, but it's okay. I mean, it's good enough, and it's definitely bigger than the other. Hang on, let's see if we can cut it short by removing some of those, and let's try to fix that little endpoint. But other than that, I think we're in good shape. Let's take a look now. Yeah, they're pretty much the same size. I like it. Maybe get rid of this one and just fix it up a bit. And this one needs just a little bit more. It doesn't have to be perfectly symmetric, like I always say. There we go. That's actually fantastic. So now, you know what? I was thinking, should I add all the other ones? Like, I was thinking of adding one here and another one here. I might not do that for now. Maybe in the next episode. You let me know in the comments what I should do. I'm sure some of you are kind of experts. This seems like it would be enough, but we might be able to improve this a little bit further by adding the X's on different areas. So let me know in the comments what I should do. All right, moving on. Next up, the touchdown zone and the aiming points. So I've got this from the Steam Workshop, and we're gonna begin by adding the touchdown lines, and I think they're coming up pretty much. I mean, it's not up to scale, so do not mind that, but I think they pretty much come right after the number. So we're gonna go with this here, and then we're gonna go with the aiming lines right about here. I think it's okay. I mean, I'm looking at a reference photo, by the way, so in case you were wondering. And then we need 2 sets of 2,000 feet markings, I guess, based on the name of this asset. They don't really need to match the center lines, so it's, I guess, right about here should be fine. And right about there. There we go. Man, that actually looks rather nice. I wonder if they should be a little bit more spread out. You know what? Let's spread them out a little bit more. I know it's not up to scale, but also I just destroyed one of the runways. Let's fix that real quick. Yeah, that actually looks much better. Man, this looks like a real runway. I love it. Let me apply the same pattern to all the runways and be back in a second. And here it is. All runways have now the proper markings. I think proper markings from what I can gather by reading some guides online. But I think they're pretty well spaced out. Given the scale of the runway, they do look pretty real, if I do say so myself. So yeah, I'm rather happy with this. So what's next is taxiways. Now this is where it becomes tricky for me because I'm not entirely sure if I should. I know the end of taxiways are for runway taxiway. They're only for limiting the the entrance and exits of runways. Let me go check out my. Yeah, there we go. So this one should be pointing the other direction. That's what I wanted to. I have Google Maps open on a second window here. So I'm gonna put this one here, right at the beginning of the runway. Let's do the same over. Actually, does it change direction? I'm scrolling through. Yeah, always they point. The dotted line always points towards the runway, regardless of what orientation or direction this thing is. So I think that looks rather nice. Let me just move it like that. Obviously, I may not be leaving like the perfect spacing between the runway and the taxiway. Don't mention it. I mean, we can only go so detailed that it's not going to be absolutely perfect. So let's put that one over there. Here on this abandoned runway, I wonder if I should add these here. Let me check real quick. I'm gonna check an airport that has one of these abandoned runways. They do have runway markers. That's interesting. Even on the runways themselves. So this is what I'm gonna do. Just gonna put this here. I guess it makes sense. If this is completely wrong, please do let me know in the comments and I will fix it. But I'm looking at an airport here that has an abandoned runway like this, and they do have the taxiway markings for the runway itself. So yeah, I'm gonna go for it. Sorry if this like totally doesn't match reality, but I think it does. I try to do my homework a little bit, so just try to get it aligned as much as I can. Perfect. Oh my god, that is fantastic. I love it. And last thing that we need to add are the precision approach path indicator, or PAPI lights. And as far as I know, they're always on the let me see, let me go check that real quick. They're always on the left of the runway, and they're pretty much next to these lines up here. So right about here should be okay. I don't know if this is a standard location, but this is where I see the PAPI lights on the airport that I'm using as a reference. Now the question is, are the lights pointing the right direction? I think they are. Yeah, cool. Awesome. All right, so let's do the same over on this side. Unfortunately, we don't have a whole lot of room, so I'm gonna put them a little bit forward. Right about here should be okay, hopefully. Yeah, because this one's a bit too close. Let's just put them right. I wonder if I mean that's fine. It's enough room for this, so it's not too bad. Even though it could have been, moved a little bit to the side, but I think that's more than enough. So it seems like we do have a bit of a connection here, so I might as well just put only one underground power cable, and this should hopefully connect everything. Did it? Come on. Yes? No? Maybe? Yeah, it did. Amazing. All right, so let's see. We have... I think we want to get rid of all of this garbage from here a little bit. Actually, not so much on this side. I think we can just do something like that. But I do want to get rid of the ruined texture. I want to keep this pretty much green for the most part. Let's do the same over on this side. Get rid of all of that. There we go. To be honest, I think I'm gonna leave this like this, even though one of the lights is kind of on the road. Let's see if I can move it over. Turn this off. You know what? Let's get rid of one of the blast pads. We don't need two of them. That way, we can just simply move this here. Right about there. And now the instrument approaching system, whatever, kind of fits in between the roads, which is good. So what I'm going to do next is just get rid of this using Surface Painter. If you use Clip, it pretty much removes whatever whatever thing was or whatever texture was underneath. Might as well remove these two so that it all looks super clean. Let's get rid of these as well, and especially this. There we go. I like it. I know it's a little bit of overgrown grass on the edge, but it's fine. I actually kind of like it. It's not perfectly, manicured gardens. It's an airport, All right, so puppy lights on this side. And finally, the poppy lights on this other side. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it does look rather nice. Finally, I was just looking that this runway marker kind of doesn't follow the pattern that I set up on this other side, where this whole area, it's part of the runway. So what I think I'm gonna do is move this marker maybe right about here. Do something like that. There we go. And now we can just move this over here. So now it looks slightly more symmetrical. Not perfect, but definitely good enough. So if you grab, actually this one should probably be moved a little bit upwards. Might as well put it in between the lights. If we grab one of the planes, so if we look at it, and this is not even the biggest one, but if we put this over here, there's enough space all around this area to fit a plane. So this is what I think the runway markers should prevent, is from another plane to come in, to come into this area and collide against each other. And one thing I did off camera too is add this little shed here that has, I don't know if you can see it, but it has like an antenna. So this could be like a weather, like a weather station, slightly smaller than the one that we have on the other end that I'm going to show you to you in a moment. But it kind of fits the area with all these rocks and the wave breakers, if you will. Which, by the way, I think these add a lot of texture to the edge of the airport. They look fantastic. Same over here. It's just too bad that they just despawn when you're far enough away. But it's not too bad. I think I kind of like it. Over here, this is the actual radar, the Doppler weather thing, which I put down. Oops, sorry. I put down over here. There's one of these invisible parks. This was on the homepage of the Steam Workshop. Basically, what this is it's a park that you put it down here. Let me just search for it. So it's People Park Generator. I think it's PPG. Yes, so you have many designs to choose from. These ones are invisible, so basically this is a 3x3 park that I can just put in here. You don't see it unless I hover over, which I want to remove now. And this attracts people. It's literally an invisible park that attracts people. The developer of, or the asset creator from this mod was actually, in the comments, was not quoting me, but like naming my channel as being the inspiration for this asset, as well as Fresh Popcorn. So many thanks to you. I'm sure you're a viewer. So I'm gonna include the link in the description so you can download the pack, because all these come in a pack, and it's really, really useful, especially if, like me, you do your own custom parks. This will attract people, and everything's going to be pretty much more alive. I did put a few of these down in various areas. I think I even put one over here at some point, just to like have people drive around a little bit further. I don't remember anymore. That's the thing. Like if you don't really write it down where you put these invisible parks, it's gonna be tricky. But so far so good. We have a car driving here to the invisible park. That's kind of what I wanted. And now they're just walking around. I don't know where they're going, but they're going places, I guess. But unfortunately, that's all the time that I have for now. So if you enjoyed this episode, please give this video a like. That's very much appreciated. And also, if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing if you haven't already. There's also a link in the description to the full playlist in case you might have missed an episode. And in the next episode, we're going to be working on adding details pretty much throughout this airport. We're going to be, embellishing the whole area, and hopefully, that will get us closer to completing this massive project, which is, I'm guessing it's like a good 60-70% complete. Maybe we'll see. But yeah, that's all I have to say for now. I want to thank you all for watching. I really hope to see you in the next one.